since you weren't raised in Chile under Pinochet's dictatorship, why did you think it was important to tell this story?
Since I wasn't raised there, well, because the story is really interesting. What happened in 1988 is a landmark for not only for Chile but for the rest of the world. It was the first time that a dictator, a absolutist regime was overthrown by democratic means without a single drop of blood being shed. You know, so it was a great feat, a great accomplishment, and a great celebration of democracy in that sense. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of mobilization and you know, social kind of society getting together to work on this and to achieve this. So I think those are the reasons why it was incredible for me to be invited to participate in this, and of course I accepted. I mean, there is no question about it. I mean, I think it's an incredible story.
The film pulled a lot of the original commercials and footage from that time.
Yeah.
Did you have a chance to meet with any of the members from the advertising team of NO?
Oh yeah, I met the two characters that the two people that the character I play is based upon, who are Eugenio Garcia and Jose Manuel Salcedo, and these two guys. I mean, they are incredible. They act in the movie as well. One of them plays one of the advisors of the Minister of Interior for the Yes campaign, so they play their opposite side, and the other plays the censor, the one that receives the tapes. So so it is quite interesting that they had to play their antagonist, you know, in this film.
There were a lot of funny NO commercials. Were there any that stood out to you the most?
Well, what's interesting is that every day they had to fill it in. You know, it's very difficult to do a campaign that lasts 20 days for 15 minutes each day that works really solidly, you know. So, and with no money, with absolutely no infrastructure. So it was all asking favors, and people would send stuff. So I think there were great moments that they managed to put out something really interesting. Like, for example, when they said no mass, you know, when the no became positive.
Right.
Like, no more this, you know, like if you do a plus sign,
right.
In Spanish it means más, like no more,
okay.
No more Pinochet, no more this, no more tragedy, no more sadness, no more this, you know. So that's when they turned the no into a positive note, and I think that was interesting. That was very smart.
I love the scene when the couple is in bed. And he's saying, please say yes, 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 exactly. And she says no.
Exactly.
And what's the next film we can expect to see you in next?
There's a film that might come out this year called Ciudades Desiertas, a film I worked in Mexico and in Canada. So okay. Hopefully that's going to be good. Let's see.
What is that about?
It's about a couple that goes to the United States traveling.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Thanks.
First off, congratulations on your Oscar nomination for Best Foreign Film. Now, I love how you tell the story from the advertiser's point of view. Why did you decide to take this route?
Well, I think because it's a very fresh story, and it's a very unique, sort of real, epic story. And as a filmmaker, of course, it's just very attractive to me. Try to, you know, to tell these people, the story to other people. And it's the combination on how the advertising logic meets the political communication, and how necessary it was in this whole process. Because back then in my country, we had, you know, the people of my country was on the street just demonstrating every day against Pinochet, just asking for democracy. Then we had the politicians' work, was very important for so many years. And then at some point where this campaign gets aired before the election, these little guys, you know, unknown people, would just come over with this very fresh idea on how to sort of convince people to vote no. And instead of telling people how bad was Pinochet, they just spread a positive message. And that twist I think it's very interesting. It has a very many political sort of meanings and levels, and it's beautiful too. And it's just was an interesting challenge to just put all this together and try to tell this movie to the world.
So do you think these commercials were the driving factor for winning the no vote?
It's very hard to know exactly what's the level of importance that it had. I do think that it was a catalyzer, something that made people feel more confident in order to go and vote and express themselves. It's hard to measure. If you ask my private opinion, I would say if the no campaign would it be, aggressive, or would it be completely different, maybe they wouldn't beat Pinochet in that referendum.
Okay. You were lucky enough to come from a privileged upbringing, such that the dictatorship didn't impact you the way it did a lot of other Chileans.
It didn't impact me. It didn't affect me
while
I was on.
What perspective did that give you in making this film?
Well, I grew up in a safe environment, so I was never exposed to any kind of violence. But that was until I was 12, because the dictatorship was over 1990. I was 14, in fact.
Okay.
But then I became an adult, and I began to start to understand what actually happened in my country. So all these questions came to me, and since I make movies, I just try to answer those questions doing films. And I did 3 films in a row about the same subject, just 20 Manero, Postmortem, and now No. It's something that I've always been interesting to me, because it's so hard to understand how a society can create that much damage to each other, to itself, and how could we as Chileans, as a whole country, could be so divided and aggressive to each other, and there are a lot of reasons for that, and it's a very sort of huge and endless world of ideas and perspectives. So I decided to get into that and trying to explore the subject, hopefully find a reflection. Yeah.
So do we see a political career with you?
No. No, I make movies. I'm not a politician. I'm in the fiction field. So any of my movies intend to change anything. It's not a propaganda or a sort of a pamphlet movies. I don't intend to change anything. I just want to express myself, and the people that I work with, I think they want to express themselves too. Maybe in order to just have a reflection on the matter, and also to create an instance that would be something that is enjoyable and emotional.
And just like you said, No is the last film in this trilogy. And now that that's done, what other projects can we expect to see from you?
Oh, since we've been talking about the movie without any stop for a while, I am not sure exactly what I'm going to do. And with all the respect, if I would know, I wouldn't tell you either. I just don't. I think it's just it's better just to be quiet, work, and then when the movie is ready, to just go out and spread the word. But and until then, I think it's just better to to keep it quiet. Thank you.